welcome back. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today I have with me the new Dior Quint for spring. This is number 849, Pink Sakura. And this is what it looks like. And I have to say, online, I really didn't know what this was going to look like. You know, apparently there are 3 Quints that are coming out. So I think sometimes I saw a different Quint and then other times it's this, but in the different lighting, it looks very different. Sometimes it looks more pink, sometimes it looks more purple. And I feel like it's really more plummy mauve type of tones. So this is my deeper eye look that I created with this quad using primarily these 2 shades here, which are the deepest in the Quint. And then I also have a lighter, very spring-like look that I've created as well. So I will be sharing those with you, but first let's go through some swatches. Now this Dior Quint is the new formula, and just like a lot of the other ones, you know, we do have a topper shade here. So this white shade is more of a topper. The pink actually comes off more pigmented on my eyes than you can really see here. But it is a light pink. This white one though, you know, is really much more sparkly and diffuse. And then this is the middle shade, and you can see that it's really kind of a plummy mauve type of tone, and it is a satin matte. Now, like the other Quints, this is 7 grams and it's made in France. Now the holiday Quints were only 4 grams, so this is back to the regular size, although this Quint is limited edition. So these are the bottom 2 shades, and you can see that this one here is a satin. It's kind of a plummy taupe shade. So it's taupe, but there's like the faintest hint of a dusty violet in there. And then this last shade here, you know, it looks kind of like a berry plum. So it definitely still has plum undertones to it, but it has a lot of this like burgundy berry shade kind of mixed in there as well. And that is what is actually creating more of this eggplant purple shade on my eyes. So the outer corner, I have this straight up, but then I have this with the pink on top of it, kind of right there, and that creates this like eggplant purple. So let me just show you a swatch of those together. So you can see how you can kind of transform the shades a little bit with these pink and white ones. I'll show you the same shade with the white topper. So you can see that the white topper really just gives more of a sparkle effect. It'll diffuse the color a little bit, but you're not really getting any transformation of the shade. The topper itself, you know, it's much more glittery and it feels a little bit more metallic when you touch it. You can feel a little grittiness to it when you do a finger swatch or you apply it with your fingers. When you're using it with a brush, it just comes off very diffuse. I'm going to share the 2 eye looks that I created with these, and then we're going to go over some comparison swatches and my thoughts on this Quint. I have the Viseart eye primer on, and we're starting off with the Sonia G Classic Crease. We're going to go into this shade here at the bottom. That's really light. Let me get a little more on the brush. Okay, so here's that first shade. I actually really like that one and think that would be really nice as an all over lid color. But today I want to play with these more pinky tones. So next we're going to go into this middle shade. Taking the Royalty 225 into the middle shade. Comes up easily, and we're going to put this on the outer half of the eye. Next, I'm going in with the soft shader from Sonia G into the light pink. And see how light this is. And I'm going to go over the middle shade there as well. So I wiped off the Royalty 225 and I'm going to go into the white sparkly shade in the top. And I'm just going to get a little bit of this on the brush, put this in the inner corner here, and drag it up a little bit. So this is like one of those topper shades that they include in some of the Dior Quints. All right, so I wiped off the classic crease. I'm gonna go into the white shade with that as well. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of this up all the way to the brow, just for a little shimmer. You can see that's not really gonna add very much. For the upper lash line, I'm using Olive Brocade from Chantecaille. And then I'm going to take the Sonia G Pencil 1 into this deep shade here. And just going to add a little bit of this on top of the green back here. Not sure if I like that, but let's go with it for now. Okay, wiped off the brush, and now I'm going to just kind of smudge that in with the green, and I'm working my way in. So it's just adding a little something to the color. It just changes it a little bit. For the lower lash line, I'm using the Pencil 1 brush in this shade here. I feel like the others are going to end up being too pink toned for me. All right, so this is my first look. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup and then I will show you a distance shot. And this is the final look from a distance. So on my face, I have the Coach & Dough Moisture Foundation in 012. I used the blush and highlight from Dior's holiday collection. So that's 310 and 353. And then I have the Surratt Noir Lash Tint on, the 100 Nude Look from Dior Lip Pencil, along with the Guerlain Rouge G Satin Formula Lipstick in number 62, which is this really pretty pink that came out for last spring. It's actually a permanent color. The case came out for last spring. And then I used the Guerlain Meteorites in Golden Bee all over. And that is everything. Today I have the NARS eye primer on, and we're going to go into the deepest shade with the Sonia G Classic Crease. And I'm getting just the tiniest bit on the brush. And we're going to see how light we can make this. A little bit more. I wiped off the brush and now I'm going into the white topper shade, and I am going to mix this all the way up to the brow. So I'm going from the top of the crease. And I really just wanted to see how pigmented some of these deeper shades are. So we're going to play with this one here. This is W21 from Isom. And we're going to start this in the outer corner. And I'm going to apply this over the whole outer half here, just slightly past the halfway point. You can see that's about how dark it goes, and that's super easy. Wiping that off, we're going to go into the middle shade here. And then I'm going to use a finger in the light pink and put that right in the center. And I'm using like a feathering motion to kind of blur the edges between the two shades there. Get a little bit more here. Taking the classic crease again. No shadow, but I'm gonna blend this a bit. I'm gonna take my finger into the white shade. And again, this is like a topper, so you can see that there's, you know, it's mostly like more of a glittery shade, and I'm just dabbing that in the inner corner. Just wanted to see how much emphasis you get with the finger. I think that looks a little off, so I'm just using the crease brush to diffuse that a little. For the upper lash line, I'm taking the Chanel eyeliner in number 83, Cassis. Actually, I'm gonna add this to the lower lash line on the outer portion, and then I'm just gonna smudge that. Taking the Esom V09 to smudge that out. All right, and then I'm going in with the V09 in the white topper shade, just to add a little bit of brightness to the inner half of the lower eyelash. So this is my deeper eye look up close. I'm gonna finish my makeup and then I'll show you a distance shot. So this is the final look from a distance. I have on the Coach & Dough Moisture Foundation, the highlight from the Holiday Collection 310. This is from Dior's Holiday Collection, as well as the blush in 353. I have the Chantecaille Faux Cils Longest Lash Mascara, and on my lips, I have the lip pencil from Dior in 100 Nude Look, as well as the Chantecaille lip veil in Plumeria, which is kind of this plummy shade. First thing I'd like to compare it to is actually the Chantecaille Hummingbird, the Cool Quartet. And this light pink, when I wear that pretty much all over like I did in the first look, that's what this made me think of. So let me go ahead and swatch these. And we're just gonna go ahead and swatch the whole quad, although really it's more just these three, the taupe, the plum, and the pink, that are kind of reminiscent. And I really think it's pretty much just the pink one. All right, so let's see here. It's not a good swatch of the last one. I didn't have that much on my finger. But here's the pink. And you can see that the tones of them are different. There is a little bit more of that orchid purpley shade to the Dior. And then here is the taupe, which is a little bit warmer in tone than this one, which again has a little bit more plum. And then this purple here, you can see that, you know, this one here has like a totally different finish to it, which makes it look very different. But the tones are kind of similar to when you top the deepest shade with the light pink. So I'm just going to swatch those a little bit closer so you can see there's the light pink. You can see it's a little bit peachier in Chantecaille. And then here is the taupe. And you can see that it's going to be a bit warmer. And then that one there is the deep plum shade. And I really think it's closest to the deepest shade with a light pink on top. This is the Viseart Paris Edit palette. So we're going to swatch a couple of these. This one here, the light pink. Let's go ahead and compare this one. We're going to put that right here so you can see that. Oh, nothing like it. And then let's look at this purple here. So it's kind of in between these two. It's a little bit deeper, but it also has more red in it than these two. And then let's take a look at Midsummer. This, although in the pan looks a little similar, it's actually a duochrome shade. So we're not going to swatch that because I'm not sure if you can tell with the way the light's hitting it, but it shifts blue, so it's not going to be anything like it. But this light pink is, I think it's going to be a little bit more peachy, but let's take a look. We're going to put this, we'll put this right at the top so we can see it better. Yeah, it's peachier than this. You can see this one's definitely a cooler tone, got the violet in it. This one is kind of in between the Dior and the Chantecaille. And then I also have the Dior Plum Tool, which I haven't even opened yet. So let's take a look at this real quickly. All right, so this is Plum Tool, and I'm just gonna swatch all three of these real quickly. This is definitely gonna be more purple in tone. You can see here definitely much more purple. But these bottom two, they looked a little bit more similar. So here's the deep shade. You can see that the one in Dior is more burgundy, more raspberry in there compared to this one. Let me just make that a little bit better of a swatch there. And then this taupe shade is definitely more satin, and it actually has a little bit more lilac in it than this one does. I'll put those together. So here is the taupe. I'm just gonna squeeze this in. This is the one from Plum Tool. So you can see the difference. We've got a little bit more gray in the one from Plum Tool. And while we're at it, here is the deepest shade from Plum Tool. So you can see the difference there. This one definitely has more purple in it, and it's a bit, yeah, probably about the same depth of color, but the new Pink Sakura definitely has more like a raspberry reddish tone to it than the one in Plum Tool. I just wanted to show you another comparison of these, and it has been most of the day. You can see I started to swatch it before, and this is the deepest shade in Pink Sakura, and this is swatched with the Shantakai Crane shade. So it occurred to me, I've been wearing this all day now, and it occurred to me that it reminded me of Crane, but you can see that Crane definitely is a bit more brown on me, and it's lighter. The one in Pink Sakura is definitely going to be much deeper, more pigmented. I mean, it is a matte, so it goes on differently than a luminescent eye shade does as well, but it's definitely a bit deeper. Okay, so that is it for my swatch comparison. Now, on to my thoughts on this Quint. You know, when I first saw photos of this online, it looked very purple. I was like, oh, I gotta have it. It's definitely a must-have. And then I saw photos and it looked more pink. And I was like, oh, I'm tired of the pink eyeshadows. And then I missed it when it was available, and I couldn't decide if I should get it or not. So I actually reached out to my friend Jennifer at All Feisty, and she had already gotten it. So she was kind enough to swatch it for me, showed me the colors. I was kind of still on the fence, but then it popped up, it was available. Thank you so much, Ski Couture, for sharing that with me. And I was able to order it, and I ended up really loving this Quint. I have to say, like in the photos online, it looks warmer in tone than it does in person. It's definitely more, I'd still say it's like in the neutral range, but it leans cooler. And these are, it's this topper shade, this light pink, this is the middle shade, this is the bottom left and bottom right. And I really think that this pink shade, you know, it's very light if you use it on its own, but if you top it on something else, or if you wear like a solid base underneath, this pink really pops. And I think that's beautiful. I also think it's very transformative to put on top of other shades. So I find this to be a very useful color. This topper shade, I think it looks great to give you kind of a really subtle like highlight under the eye or in the inner corner. Tapping it on top of the eyeshadow is really just going to add a little bit of shimmer, but it's not transformative like the light pink is. This light pink, I think, is a really great shade, especially pairing it on top of things. You can use this wet, dry, with a finger or with a brush. The middle shade is the pinkest out of all of them, and I think it really just lends a nice balance to the rest of the tones here. This taupe shade, I think, you know, it's very light going on, but it is a great one and done shade actually. So it's a really nice neutral taupe with a touch of plum in it. And I just think it is a really great shade on its own if you're looking for minimal eye makeup. So it's not gonna be like super pigmented. I think some skin tones, this one will be hard to show up. Even on mine, it's a little light, but if I'm going for something with more subtle makeup and I'm not really emphasizing the eyes, this is a great shade. This deepest shade here, I didn't really think I would like it as much as I do, but you know, again, I think it pairs really well with these other shades here. It's very pigmented, very smooth. You can blend it out and get a really light dusting, as you saw when I put it in the crease. You can also apply it like with normal brusher, and it's very pigmented that way. So I think it is fantastic. Now, one thing to know about all of these shades is that they all blend really well. And when they blend, you get more of that like soft watercolor effect. Everything just blends very smoothly and transitions so well that you never have any like harsh lines. So I think that's definitely a plus with these shadows. I have to say, I really love both of the looks that I created with this Quint, and I'm very, very happy that I got it. So I would definitely recommend this. I did pass on the Tri-Oblique palettes from the Dior Spring Collection. They just weren't something I was interested in color-wise, and from other reviews that I've seen on those, I'm glad I passed on those because they do not seem to be this formula. This is the new Dior eyeshadow Quint formula, which I really love. It came out as number one, new thing for 2020 for my favorites. I absolutely love this Dior eyeshadow formula now, and it has really changed the way I think and view Dior as a brand. So I'm actually excited for its releases now, whereas prior to that, I was just like, eh. So I'm very, very happy with this Quint, and I'm very happy to say that it is cooler in tone than I thought it was going to be. And I think it is just gorgeous. So I think it gives a nice bright pop of like a plummy pink shade for spring. But honestly, this is a Quint that you could wear anytime. For me, I really like these types of tones on my eyes for brightening. I don't really wear pink eyeshadows too much, but when I do like a light pink eyeshadow like this one in here, something that is cooler in tone, and it for me it actually gives eye brightening instead of that red sick look that you can get with some of the pink eyeshadows. Now, I think this shade here is a little bit too pink for me to wear right around my eyes. It looks totally fine up against my eyes when I use an eyeliner. I don't have any issues with the shade, but lining my eyes with these shades, they are a little bit on the pinker side, so they're okay, but not as great. So personally, I do prefer to use something a little bit different for an eyeliner. I really liked pairing it with the Olive Brocade, and when I'm using this and getting more of that plummy eggplant shade, I think it looks great with, something like the Chanel Cassis, which I used today. And I'm just really, really happy with this Quint. Now, I know some people don't really care for these topper shades in the Quints. I personally like them because you can use them to change the finish of your eyeshadow look. And, I think they're just, it's just something great to use. You can use this as a highlight on the cheek as well. And I just think it's a really nice touch here. Let's just add a little bit. This is the Esom V34. We'll just add a little bit to my cheek right now, and you can kind of see. So, it's just like a really easy way to kind of tie in your look as well. So I think this is something that's very versatile. So I personally do appreciate the topper shades in these Quints for the most part. Once in a while, I come across one that I don't care for, but this one I like. So overall, this Quint gets an A+ from me. I love it a lot more than I thought. I can't wait to continue wearing it. Because it is cooler in tone, I feel like on the lips, you also want to stay a little bit cooler in lip tone. So I've been reaching more for like plummy pinks. I've changed my lipsticks a few times. So, any of those like pink nudes, but anything that's like warmer tone, like the peachy pinks, I personally don't like the way they look together on me. So it's just a personal preference, but I really feel like the undertones in this are really calling for cooler tones overall, and that makes me so happy because I love, cooler tone makeup that's not overly cool. So, cool closer to the neutral spectrum. So very, very happy with this, and I can't say enough good things about it. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed the swatches. And again, overall, I would say the closest thing to this is actually the Chantecaille Hummingbird Quad in the Cool Quartet that came out last spring. It was a limited edition, and I have to say it's very small. The pans in there are very small. I've actually made, I don't know if you could see how deep my wells are in there, but I love that quad and it's gone. I'm very happy to have found something that is similar. They do have different finishes. The Chantecaille is definitely going to be a bit more sparkly and so forth, but I am very happy to have something that has a similar color story to it. So if you already have that and you don't use it so much, perhaps this is not a Quint that you'll be interested in, but if you missed out on that, or, you're like me and absolutely love that color story, this may be something that you are interested in picking up. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for tuning in today. And please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.